Tonight, we're going to be talking about lesson 2. The last lesson was on the statement of the problem. Once we identify the problem, now we're able to move towards putting in concepts. We're going to be talking about vision, mission, strategies, etc. Okay, so we're going to do an overview right now, and then we're going to go into a definition of what a strategy is and what a vision is. For our purpose, we should understand that a mission is the means to bring something about. The mission consists of different parts. It consists of the strategy and the tactic. It's considered to be a course of action. The vision is the end result of what we're trying to do. It consists of a goal and it consists of objectives. So read for me what a vision is. First paragraph.
Your vision is your dream, is what your organization believes are the ideal conditions for your community. That is how things would look if the issue important to you were completely perfectly addressed. It might be a world without war or a community in which all people are treated as equals, regardless of gender or racial background.
That being said, who was a famous person that had a vision?
I would say Martin Luther King, but
Martin
I could be
Luther
wrong.
King, exactly. His vision and visions are futuristics. It talks about what you want the world to look at like. If you recall, during that time, it was, well, it's still crazy when it comes to race, but it was even crazier during his time when they couldn't go to a bathroom, they couldn't drink out of a water fountain, and his vision was a world where you're judged not by the color of your skin, but by the contents of your character. Let's continue on. Okay, read this for me.
There are certain characteristics that most vision statements have in common. In general, vision statements should be understood and shared by members of the community, broad enough to include a diverse variety of local perspectives, inspiring and uplifting to everyone involved in your effort, easy to communicate. For example, they are generally short enough to fit on a t-shirt. Here's are some examples of vision statements that
And
meet
before you
above
do that, what did they say? It should be short enough
to
to
fit on a
fit on a
t-shirt.
t-shirt. Okay, so make sure that written statement is short enough that it can fit on a t-shirt. Let's look at some examples. Read the examples.
Caring communities, healthy children, safe streets, safe neighborhoods, every house a home, education for all, and peace on earth.
Notice how they summarize everything. When they say caring community, apparently they want to make communities more caring. When they say healthy children, apparently they want to make sure that there's no sick kids. When they talk about safe streets and safe neighborhoods, they talking about crime-free areas. And when they talk about every house a home, that means they're trying to make sure there's affordable housing for everybody. That makes sense to you?
Yes, sir.
See, it's short and it's to the point. Okay, let's continue. Now, what is a mission? Read the first and second paragraph.
The next piece of the puzzle is to ground your vision in practical terms. This is where developing a mission statement, the next step in the action planning process, comes in. An organization's mission statement describes what the group is going to do and why it's going to do that. For example, promoting care and caring at the end of life through coalition and advocacy. Mission statements are similar to vision statements in that they, too, look at the big picture. However, they're more concrete and they are definitely more action-oriented than vision statements. Your vision statement should inspire people to dream. Your mission statement should inspire them to action.
Read that again.
Your vision statement should inspire people to dream. Your mission statement should inspire them to action.
Correct. The vision statement is all about giving people a dream. And then vision statement, that is. And the mission statement is about inspiring them to take action and do something. Last sentence, just read that.
The last sentence and the first.
The last paragraph.
Oh, good mission statements are not limiting in the strategies or sectors.
No, I'm sorry. All the way down to the bottom here. Outcome.
Oh, you want the whole paragraph? Okay.
Yes.
Outcome-oriented mission statements explain the fundamental outcomes your organization is working to achieve. Inclusive, while mission statements do make statements about your group's key goals, it's very important that they do so very broadly. Good mission statements are not limiting in the strategies or sectors of the community that they may become involved in the project.
Excellent. Let's move on. Let's look at some examples. Read the examples of a vision statement.
The following example should help you understand what we mean by effective mission statements. Promoting child health and development through a comprehensive family and community initiative. To create a thriving African American community through development of jobs, education, housing, and cultural pride. To develop a safe and healthy neighborhood through collaborative planning, community action, and policy advocacy. Promoting community health and development by connecting people, ideas, and resources. This is the mission of the community toolbox.
So notice missions are action orientated. They actually tell you, it gives you the steps that they're going to take to bring about the vision. Okay, we just went over mission and we went over vision. Now that we have that, the next step is your program goals. Okay, read for me the entire this entire presentation right here, starting from the first sentence.
Goal. A goal is a broad statement of what you wish to accomplish. A goal is really about the final impact or outcome that you wish to bring about.
It is the final outcome or impact you want to bring about. Continue.
Program goals. Goals should specify the results from program service and be in the terms that are SMARTER, an acronym. That is specific, measurable, acceptable to those working to achieve the goals, realistic, timely, extending the capabilities of those working to achieve the goals and rewarding for them as well. Example program goal number 1, support at least 600 dropouts from Minneapolis high schools to obtain diplomas or equivalent levels of certification.
Notice they tell you how many, which is 600. They tell you who, high school students, and they tell you what they want those high school students to have. Okay, continue.
A goal is a broad statement of what you wish to accomplish. Goals are broad, general, intangible, and abstract. A goal is really about the final impact or outcome that you wish to bring about.
Again, it's about the final impact. So in 2014, I decided I had a major problem with smoking. I knew it caused cancer and I knew all that stuff, but still I was a smoker. So I decided that my goal was to deal with that issue. So I put it in terms of a goal, and that goal was to reduce, to eliminate smoking by within the next 5 months. That makes sense?
Yes.
It talks about the final outcome that you're trying to bring about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's continue. Read that for me.
Each goal will have one or more performance measures. Additionally, each goal will have one or more strategies stating how the goal will be accomplished.
Now, we're going to get into performance measures when we get into evaluation. That's probably about 3 lessons away. Okay, and finally, let's look at another goal.
An example of a goal: decrease the degree of malnutrition among young children in the southwest region of Baltimore.
They tell you where? Southwest region of Baltimore. They tell you what? Malnutrition. They want to increase that, to decrease that. And they tell you who? For young children. Okay. Only read the first and second sentences.
Program goals: a broad and future-oriented statement of the desired. Goal statements identify the specific target group and provide the what information as distinct from the how the goal will be achieved or when it will come about.
Okay, read that again.
Starting from program goals,
No, start from
goal statements.
Yeah.
Goal statements identify the specific target group and provide the what information as distinct from the how the goal will be achieved or when it will come about.
Okay, excellent. So we've gone over vision, mission, and we dealt with goals. Now let's talk about strategies. What is a strategy?
Strategies, the approaches you will take.
Yep, the approach that you're going to take. Continue.
The broad approaches you are going to take in order to achieve the goal. A
Okay.
strategy is the plan of action, method, process, or a specific step taken to accomplish a goal in a strategic plan or an objective in a compact. They indicate how results will be achieved. Each goal and objective will have one or more strategies.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about more strategy as we move forward. That being the case, let's go to the next. Now, let's look at some program strategies. Read that for me.
Program strategies or methods to reach goals should follow directly from strategies intended to achieve each strategic goal. For example, example program strategy 1.1, conduct high school equivalency training programs to dropouts from Minneapolis high schools. Example program strategy 1.2, provide free transportation to enrollees in the program. Example program strategies 1.3, provide subsidized childcare to enrollees in the program. A program strategy is the means or broad approach by which a program will achieve its goals.
Okay, let's continue. Read that for me.
A strategy is the plan of action, method, process, or specific step taken to accomplish a goal in a strategic plan or an objective in a compact. They indicate how results will be achieved. Each goal and objective will have one or more strategies.
So what I wanted you to get out of this is to understand a strategy is a plan of action, a method, or a process. Okay, we just read that. Now, we've gone over vision, mission, program goal, and program strategy. Now, let's talk about an objective. What is an objective?
Your objectives specify the outcome of your project, the end products or product. They are tangible. Your objective should be behavioral, a human action is anticipated. Performance, a specific time frame within which a behavior will occur at an expected proficiency level is expected. Process, the manner in which something occurs, and an end in itself. And product, a tangible item result.
So there are different types of objectives. So we have to understand what is the objective that we're trying to achieve. Anywhere from changing a behavior to performance to a process. Let's continue. Okay, so let's talk about what is a SMART objective. Have you ever heard the word SMART before?
I mean, not in these terms, but yeah.
Okay, it's like you learn a whole new language. Welcome to the world of nonprofits. Okay, tell me what they stand for.
SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, and achievable, relevant, and time bound.
So let's talk about Pacific. So what do they mean by Pacific?
What exactly are we going to do and for whom?
Yeah, it has to be Pacific. We have to know, for example, what we're going to do and for whom. Remember the last case when they talk about their goal was to what was that goal that they had? Dropouts. That goal was to deal with dropouts, and they talk about for whom, teenagers, and they talk about where. Read this paragraph.
The specific part of an objective tells us what will change for whom in concrete terms. It identifies the population or setting and specific actions that will result. In some cases, it's appropriate to indicate how the change will be implemented through training or through implementation of the chronic care model. Coordinate, partner, support, facilitate, and enhance are not good verbs to use in objectives because they are vague and difficult to measure. On the other hand, verbs such as provide, train, publish, increase, decrease, schedule, or purchase indicate clearly what will be done.
We definitely want to make sure we're using action verbs when we begin to describe the Pacifics. So, what is measurable? What do we mean by measurable? Something is measurable. What do we mean?
Measurable is a quantifiable and we can measure it.
In other words, we should be able to give a number, 600, 300, 500, 4, or 5. That's what we mean by measurable. Read the first sentences in the paragraph, not the rest of them, but this is the first sentence.
Measurable implies the ability to count or otherwise quantify an activity or its results. It also means that the source of a mechanism for collecting measurement data are identified and that the collection of these data is feasible for your program or partners.
Last week, we talked about 2 research strategies that we can use to do research. Do you recall what those 2 research strategies were?
Are you talking about the qualitative and the quantitative?
Exactly. We're going to be coming back to that term throughout the lessons, quantitative and qualitative. Okay, let's move on. Okay. What do we mean by attainable?
Can we get it done? Attainable is can we get it done in the proposed time frame with the resources and support we have available?
What do we mean by that? If you say to me, Mike, I got a program coming up and we plan to reach 5,000 kids and we only have 2 people on staff. My question to you is that achievable? Especially when you say you're going to do it in 6 months. So you have to be realistic about whether or not your proposal is achievable within the time period that you want to do it. That makes sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, read the next sentence.
The objective must be feasible with the available resources, appropriately limited in scope, and within the program's control and influence.
That means that you have to have the resource necessary. Now, if you told me you have 15 staff members, then that number might be doable. But for 2 people, I don't think so. Let's go to the next.
Relevant. Will this objective have an effect on the desired goal or strategy?
This is especially applies to new nonprofits. When they begin to set out their goals and their objectives, but what they're doing is not relevant to what their goals and objectives are. Let's say, for example, if you want to reduce teenage pregnancy, but yet the activities that you're doing is how to teach a person how to cook. That's not relevant to your goals and your objective. So we have to make sure that it's relevant. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to move to the next section because this other stuff you can read at your leisure related to relevancy. Next.
Time bound. When will this objective be accomplished?
For example, if we're doing a project, and tell me what's wrong with this project. Our goal is to reach 700 kids in the Tampa, Florida area that are addicted to drugs and want to stop using drugs. What's wrong with that?
Well, you would have to identify who is addicted, first of all, to know that they're addicted to drugs. And there's not like a number of how many kids you want to
And it's another thing, it's not time bound. We didn't say when.
Right.
For example, within the next 6 months or within a year. That's what we mean by time bound. When do you plan to do it? That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, let's continue. Okay, now read for me the first 2 paragraphs.
Writing SMART objectives also helps you to think about the identity elements of the evaluation plan and measurement, namely indicators and performance measures. An indicator is what you will measure to obtain observable evidence of accomplishments, changes made, or progress achieved. Indicators describe the type of data you will need to answer your evaluation questions. A SMART objective often tells you what you will measure.
We are going to get really deep into this when we get to the section on evaluation, which is probably about a couple lessons away. Okay, let's continue. Right, read the last sentences.
Objectives and goals are also what's, not how's, but they are smaller than a mission.
So objective deals with the what and not the how. And we're going to get more detail into that. Here's an example of a model that they use to make sure that you're meeting all the requirements. For example, they say by, when, who, and measurements. If you fill in those blanks like that, you got yourself a good objective. Okay, now read the second paragraph.
The 2 general types of objectives are process and outbound. Process objectives focus on the activities to be completed in a specific time frame.
Okay, so there's 2 types of objective. One is process and the other is outcome. And when we get to evaluation, we're going to get deeper into that. Read for me the area that starts with example.
By June 30th, 2006, providing training for 20 community health center administrators in the use of electronic medical records.
It's time bound. They tell you when, by June the 30th. It's specific, training for community health administrators. And it's also achievable. Now, had they say 1,000 community health centers or something like that, that wouldn't be achievable. Now read the last paragraph.
Outcome objectives express the intended results or accomplishments of program or intervention activities. The most often focus on changes in policy, a system, the environment, knowledge, attitudes, or behavior.
Okay. Right. Now, read what a short-term versus an intermediate versus a long-term objective.
Short-term objectives are generally expected immediately and can occur soon after the program or intervention is implemented, very often within a year. Long-term objectives state the ultimate expected impact of the program or intervention. Example, let's put all these concepts together to form a series of related objectives.
Okay.
Goal,
Go ahead.
improve control of high blood pressure in the state. The long-term objective by December 30th, 2010 increased from baseline to 65% of the percentage of hypertension patients at a community center whose blood pressure is under control.
So they're talking about within a year what they plan to do, and they break it down. Next, an immediate.
An immediate objective by June 28, 2008 increased from 2 to 10 number of community health centers that have implemented use of electronic medical records, which provide reminders of high blood pressure treatment guidelines. There are currently 15 community health centers in the state. Short-term objective by June 28, 2006 increased from 2 to 5 the number of community health centers that have provided staff training on the GNC7 guidelines.
Next.
For the short-term objective listed above, activities or process objectives could include, by December 30th, 2006, provide training for 20 community health center administrators on the impact of using guidelines and electronic medical records by February 2026. Form one collaborative of at least 5 health centers to examine issues related to blood pressure control. By May 2006, provide one train the trainer program on the JNC7 guidelines for collaborative members.
Now see how they break it down? December, February, and May. Okay. All right, now let's put it all together. The goal, the strategy, the objective, and the activity. Starting from here.
The following example indicates 2 useful program strategies for addressing a program goal. Each strategy has an objective and corresponding activities. Program goal to decrease risk behaviors associated with HIV infection among students within the school district. Program strategy, form a community partnership that advocates for HIV prevention, education in schools. Objective by February 28th, 2009, convene 4 meetings of a new community partnership group for HIV prevention, education in schools. Activities create criteria for identifying partnership members, recruit the members, convene the meetings, and document the meetings. Strategy 2, provide professional development on HIV prevention education to district health educators. Objective by February 28, 2009, conduct 2 one-day workshops on HIV prevention education for at least 90% of health educators in the district, including teachers, school nurses, and school counselors. Activities, recruit the trainers, design the workshop, market the workshop, implement the workshop, evaluate the workshop, and provide follow-up support to workshop participants.
So we noticed the logical path that you take in terms of putting together a grant. You start with the goal, the strategy, the objective, and the activities. Now, some people call activity tasks, the different tasks you have to do or actions you have to do to bring about the objective. That makes sense?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, now, let me come out of here and let's go to your project. Hold on one second. Give me a second to bring that up. Like I said, good job. I like the fact that you went on in there and you put something together which shows that you're going to be one of my better students. You're going to do very, very well.
I'm trying to learn.
Oh, you're doing well. Very well. All right, now let's go back here. Let's go here. Okay. Read your mission statement.
To provide diversity and equality services and raise awareness for people with mental health in a setting that promotes education, trainings, research, and community involvement.
So we know we have to play with that because we need to be able to fit it on a what?
A shirt.
On a t-shirt, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, we would need to play with that to make sure that we get it on a t-shirt. We could drop some words and still see what we're trying to do. Mission.
The mission or the vision?
Your your vision.
To improve a better society for people suffering from mental health, not limited to substance abuse disorders.
Purpose.
To provide services and engage the community with raising awareness for mental health. To provide the most therapeutic and safest environment to clients with mental health, and to provide coaching, workshops, and presentations to the community to help understand the need of caring for a person with mental health.
Do you know what you just described based on what you learned this now?
It seems like my purpose is actually my strategy.
No, it's actually your objectives.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, that's what are we trying to achieve?
Yeah, it's actually your objectives. But that's
Mhm.
good. Now you can drop purpose and put down objectives.
Mhm.
That's the whole purpose of this class, to learn. There's no reason for you to invest money in something that you know already. You invest money because you're learning something new that can take you to the next level. So I'm
Mhm.
going to play with your mission statement, and then I'm going to send you a mission statement that I want you to look at, and I'm going to play with your vision statement, and then I'm going to send you a statement that I want you to look at, and then we can play with it so we can come up with yours based on both, comparing yours to mine, and come up with the one that's uniquely yours.
Okay.
Now, every class, I'm always going to ask, give me 2 things that you learned today.
I learned about the SMART acronym.
Excellent.
And the goal. The goal is your final impact.
Definitely. The goal is the final impact of what you want to bring about. For example, your goal would be looking at your mission statement. Let me look at your mission statement. I'm sorry. Your goal would be to increase, for example, no, your goal would be to promote education, training, and research and community involvement. That could be taken, you could take that from your mission statement, and that definitely could be an objective. But we're going to play with it. What's
Okay.
most important is that you got an opportunity to see what a goal, what a strategy is, and all this crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to go to program design. We got to deal with budgets, all that stuff when we finish up on the class. Now I had an opportunity to look at the proposal. I know it's going to take 3 weeks for me to start to put together something. So I'm gonna get something over to you with some what my thoughts are. And you say it's due the 15th, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I like the approach that you took. I'm just going to expand on what you say, and then I'm going to pull in all of the other elements that they require for it to come into play.
Okay.
Now, you did say that are you connected with SAMS?
I am.
Good. And also grant.gov, is that right?
I didn't do grant.gov, but I did do the SAM. So I have to go on and do grant.gov.
Yeah. We could do grant.gov when we reach that particular point related to that proposal right there. But the fact that you did do SAMS is a big plus. Any thoughts tonight before we leave?
No, but I do have a question about the 501c3.
Please.
So so when do they ask for the bylaws?
They ask for that once we get to that stage where you actually are filing a 1023 application.
Oh, so it's the 1023.
And they don't ask for per se, they only say, do you have your bylaws?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I need to put together your bylaws as well as your conflict of interest or policy as well, related to your nonprofit. And then we have to amend your articles in order to meet the requirements for the state.
Okay.
Because you did send me a copy of your articles, right? I mean, no.
I did.
Yeah, you sent me a copy of your articles, and I think they only asked for preliminary stuff, right? It wasn't that much.
Correct.
Yeah, we're gonna have to amend that in order to meet the requirements for the feds.
Okay.
Yeah. Now the bylaws and the conflict of interest policy you keep for your record. That's needed when you go for grants. That's when they're gonna ask for that when you go for grants.
Okay.
So let's talk about what is the process of taking you from the start all the way to the finish. I got a 6-minute presentation that I want you to look at. Hold on 1 second. Let me go back here. Give me 1 second. Okay, before we go there, let me pause. Okay, this is talking about what are the different levels for the nonprofit. My name is Michael Randolph, and tonight I'm going to be talking about one of our upcoming professional workshops. The workshop is titled How to Start, Operate, Finance, and Grow a Nonprofit. This class is one of the most comprehensive and holistic classes that you would ever take related to the subject matter. My background includes over 30 years in working in the nonprofit industry. That includes nonprofits and mom and pop startup businesses, for-profit businesses. So what do we want to talk about in terms of the discussion that we're going to have? Starting a nonprofit is easier than actually getting that nonprofit to operation. So let's talk about the three different stages of putting together a nonprofit from the beginning to operations. The first phase of a nonprofit is known as the emergent. That includes legal and business compliance, anywhere from your articles of incorporations to your bylaws, conflict of interest policy, the different required forms to be business compliance on the state, local, and county level, as well as the requirements related to putting together the 501c3. All of these are consistent with that initial startup of the nonprofit. It basically deals with putting together annual reports and also annual assessment for the board of directors. This also should include your board training. Moving from that and going to phase 2, this is the intermediate phase of the nonprofit. This has to do with putting together human resource development, anywhere from job spec, job descriptions, training for the staff, board training, are some of those inclusions. So this becomes a very critical stage when you go in terms of identifying who is it that you want to need, what is it going to cost, what are the requirements that that person should have in order to staff that person to bring about your desired outcome. After the intermediate stage comes the final stage of a nonprofit. This is what we call the advanced stage. It has to do with organizational development, funding, program and funding development, infrastructure, and public relationship. This consists of a number of things. For example, when we're talking about operation, we're talking about putting together or having a strategic plan in place in order to give the tools necessary to bring about what you want. This has to do with the strategic plan, management systems, etc. Program development has to do with what are the activities that you plan to do, and what are the goals and objective of each of those components to your business design and business development. So we will definitely go in depth, because program development and program design is a science, and you must follow it to the T as to how do you design a fundable program. Funding development has to go with every aspect of how do you bring money into the. Now, this particular class that you're taking is dealing with fund development, all aspects of putting together a plan to go after the money. Let's continue. Okay. The organization to keep it operational. This includes all types of funding sources, be it subsidies from the government, earned income from the business venture of the nonprofit, or of course, donations and grant money. So the other thing is infrastructure. Infrastructure means now you got your office, you got your office, you got your staff, you got all those things in place. The final component to nonprofit development is what we call public relationship. That is, how do you plan to market your nonprofit? Who do you plan to partner with? Who do you plan to network with? How do you put yourself in a position where you're out there where everybody can see? I'm going to send you all of the different services that we provide. Now, this funding development, it's going to be a lot. This dealing with funding development, because like I say, this course right here is anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks long. This on funding development. But the funding development gives you a perspective on how to get the money. Program development goes to show, well, how do I create the program? I think that you will probably be a good candidate for our CEO training. And we can talk a little bit about that later on. CEO training encompasses all of this that we're talking about tonight. That being the case, anything else before we leave this evening?
No, sir.
I think you're going to be one of my star students. I already know. You're going to be the one that I talk to everybody about.
I hope so.
I tell you, I got a few who I call stars. My star students are folks that can take it from $0 to hundreds of thousands. I got people that started with me, and they bosses now. I mean, first of all, they bringing in a salary of $150,000 for themselves, and they got a budget of $1 million. You know, because they took the CEO course and they what I call a boss. And I think you're going to be a boss because you got all the makings of being a boss. I always tell folks, I can give you all the information in the world, comprehensive, in depth, but it means nothing if you don't take it to the next level and put it into action.
Exactly.
So that being said, anything else before we roll out tonight?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm going to be sending you the this, and I'm also going to be sending you tonight's presentation and more information about the organization. I appreciate you. Now, what state are you in?
I'm right here with you. I'm in Florida and I'm in Ruskin.
Oh, okay, because I tell you all day long, I've been having classes and I've been getting mixed up. I've been saying, you in Florida, right? They said, no, we California, right? I said, well, that's the beauty when you're doing virtual classes.
Nope, I'm next door to you.
Okay, good enough. All right, look, I'm looking forward. What
So
is
you're
the
gonna
next
you gonna
class?
see my face around when I start coming out with all my stuff. You're gonna be like, oh, yep, that's one of mine.
Oh, you know I'm bragging on you, right? Oh, yeah, definitely. Now, we've probably introduced your nonprofit to the world, right?
Yes.
Okay, good, good, good. I want to do that, and then like weeks later, I want to do a second introduce yourself to the world, and that's when you're gonna be saying, "Hey, y'all, I'm bad," and you're gonna share with them everything you learned and how you at that position now where so hey, yeah, you ready to become a boss.
I'm ready. I'll be working on some more homework. So by the time you send me those back, I'll have some more stuff for you.
Oh yeah, I definitely gonna be sending you homework, right? But the first weeks is just simply get an understanding, grasp of the depth of the information, and then we can get more specific related to that. So that being said, anything else before we? Yeah, when are we meeting again?
You tell me. Next week. I have. What's next week? Today. Oh, this is it. So I have. The 16th, the 18th, and the 16th and the 18th open.
What days are those?
The 16th is a Thursday and the 18th is a Saturday.
Well, yeah, we can do either one of those days.
Okay, we can do.
Yeah, we'll shoot for Thursday, and if something come up, we can always fall back on Saturday.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Doing what you do, you're gonna be my star student. So have a good one and be safe.
Thank you. You as well.
These people are crazy out here these days. Every time I turn on the news, I hear about somebody that got shot.
I know it's too much.
It's too much. So have a good one. Talk to you later.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.